Hey everyone, First T here. Thanks for checking out this YouTube channel. Congratulations, Stewart Cink, on winning the 2020 Safeway Open. Here's his post-win virtual press conference interview.
It must have been a pretty emotional day for you. Just congratulations. It's the 7th victory on tour for you. You're currently leading the FedEx Cup, of course, the first tournament of the season. And just some thoughts on the emotional victory. I'm sure it was emotional for you, just like it was for the rest of us.
Well, it has been emotional, and you can't go wire to wire in the FedEx Cup year without winning the first one. I'd like to point that out right now. So
that's true.
In a way, that was kind of a goal this week. No, but it's been an awesome time. My son Reagan caddying for me. Lisa was here. This is a really special place. I love being in Napa, and I just had a really phenomenal time this week. And on top of that, my golf ball was pretty agreeable most of the way. So it was a really great experience, top to bottom all week.
Well, 21 under is the tournament record in relation to par. Is this some of the best golf that you've played in your career, do you feel?
There's no question about that. I've played some good golf over the years. It's been a while since I really played well for 4 rounds. And even here, the second round, I was not exactly, outstanding, but I really played great over the weekend. I was clear-headed and calm, and that's an area where I kind of have struggled over the years. And so I think having Reagan on the bag, and I saw James Seekman, my coach, earlier this week, who helped me out a lot in that area too. And I just, I had a lot of good sort of vibes, and it felt like it just felt like the right place for me to be up near the top of the leaderboard. And then when it came time for me to kind of wrestle the bull to the ground, we were able to keep our composure, me and Reagan both, and at least it looked like it on the outside, and get the job done.
All right. If anybody has a question for Stewart, just type your name into the chat. But since we have Michael on screen, Michael Wegerman, if you want to go ahead with a question, feel free. Well, we can hear you and see you, so if you don't have a question, I'd ask you to shut it down and we'll... Do you have a question, Michael? All right, let's skip Michael and we'll go straight to Adam Schupak. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Stuart, congratulations. What was it that James Seekman helped you with this week?
Well, I've asked James over the last couple of years to get a little bit more and more involved in my in the coaching part of my golf, and it started with the short game, and then I asked him to start helping with putting a little bit, and then most recently, about a month ago, I asked if he'd be interested in kind of helping me with the mentals part of the game. And it's been a little while since I worked with anybody, and so he's had some good thoughts and good ideas. I would call him he's like an expert in learning, in the way the mind learns and the way you grow in a subconscious kind of way. And that's just so key out here when you're looking for a new horizon or a frontier in which to sort of like separate yourself from so many great players. And so James and I had a couple of good talks earlier this week, and it wasn't really revolving around technique as much as it was about like how to kind of like manage myself. And that's been a great, great start. I mean, this week with getting the W, it's definitely something I'm going to be interested in talking to him more about and sort of downloading to him what the week presented to me, and also Reagan. And but it's been great having James on board. He's part of a great team I have with Mike Litnick, my swing coach, and Cornell Dreesen, who I work with on my fitness and my health. And I just got a really good group going right now, and it just feels really good to be sitting right here.
Did it feel like riding a bicycle, being back in contention, and also you looked like you were getting a little glassy eyes? Could you just walk me through the emotions you felt? This is when you were being interviewed afterwards.
Well, as far as riding a bike, heck no, it didn't feel just like riding a bike. It never has. That's my 7th win, and not one of them has felt the same. The only one I felt really calm and really collected and never really lost my composure was the biggest one I've ever won, and that was the Open Championship. But today I was losing my stuff everywhere, and that's just part of the deal, you know? I mean, I think if you go out there thinking you're not going to lose it, then you're wrong and you're going to be shocked. And so I was prepared to lose it. And I mean, for crying out loud, I left a 5-foot putt short on the 17th hole that I needed to make. And, you know, that's not like what a champion does, but a champion does get back up off the mat when he gets knocked down. And I got knocked down a little bit there, and I went and played the 18th hole, the best I've played it in my whole life. And so that, as far as is it like riding a bike? No, it's not like riding a bike. The emotions, yeah, I definitely had a lot of emotions out there today. I just was overcome at a few times with a feeling of gratitude and just feeling like how fortunate I am to be in the position that I'm in. You know, as I'm, you know, we call it the bullets are flying out there. You know, last 4 or 5 holes of a PGA Tour event, your name's on the top of the leaderboard. But think about it. I got my son caddying for me. My wife is in almost 5-year remission now, and she's walking out there just on the side of the ropes. And at 47, I'm able to, you know, compete at the highest level, and now not just compete but win. And I walked over to the side of the ropes after 14, and I grabbed Lisa by the arm, and I just told her how grateful I was at that moment. You know, I just was feeling this great sense of gratitude, and I always try really hard to keep my heart in the right place when I'm competing. It's just one of my main goals. I want to win, but I don't want winning to be something that I have to do to like fulfill myself. And you know, I have a lot of faith. I'm follower of Christ, and I just felt an enormous sense of gratitude out there.
Really cool. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, thanks, Adam. We've got a few lined up, so we'll just try and ask you to keep it to 1 or 2 questions each, and we'll go to Ron Kroichek, San Francisco Chronicle next. Go ahead, Ron.
Stewart, congratulations.
Thank you.
If you could speak a little bit maybe to the journey, what the journey has been like these last 11 years. I mean, between wins, obviously, you're competing and trying to win, and that's difficult in its own right. And then obviously you've had some personal challenges, as you mentioned, with your wife. Did that journey, whether it's last night or at all today or after you won, to the path to get here sort of hit you at all?
I don't think it did until late in the round today. And I was very aware of the situation we were in, and obviously very focused on what I was trying to do, each task along the way with the shots. But I also at the same time was aware of the journey you're talking about, and you know how my golf game hasn't really produced all that great results for the last 8 or so years, 10 years. And but it all just kind of poured together into just feeling like, wow, this is really special. And I'm here with my son Reagan caddying for me. Just it's the 4th time Reagan's ever caddying. It's not like he is a regular guy caddying. It's his 4th time caddying. So it really was. I had enough awareness to understand the position I was in and what it all meant to me, but also the clarity, I guess, today was gifted to me somehow that I was able to also focus when I needed to. So I had a little mix, and it was the right mix for me today, because I did hit a lot of good shots a ton of great shots when I needed to. And I kind of jokingly dwell on the putt on 17, and that's kind of not my highlight of the day. But in the end, you have to overcome some of those little challenges, and I bounced back on 18 really great, and I'm super proud of that.
If I could ask one quick follow-up, just what the 18th hole was like, knowing you probably needed to make birdie, I'm guessing, and hitting that second shot, and that's a heck of a shot to get it through the green the way you did. What was that? Just take us through the thought process.
Okay, I could spend a lot of time talking about this, but the first couple of days I'd hit good drives on 18, and I just leaked them a little right, and both times they got right up against the bunker lip. And so after Friday, Reagan and I decided that the best target line for me on that hole was to aim it down the first cut of the fairway down the left side, because really the left rough is very playable. I mean, I could just lay it up to a wedge. It's way better than the right bunker. And so the last 2 days, I took driver, the same club, but I took it down the left edge of the fairway and hit great drives. Yesterday I hit it in the first cut, and today I hit it just a 5-yard fade, and it bled into the middle of the fairway. And from there, the yardage really couldn't have been more perfect for me. I have a 7-wood in my bag, and I had 250 yards to the hole, slightly into the wind, so that was going to cushion the flight of the ball. It was going to land soft, and just being honest, the last couple of years, I've really struggled in that part of my game, the fairway wood approach shots into par fives, and but I had talked with I had done a lot of work over the last few weeks since I wasn't in the FedEx Cup last year with my coach Mike Lipnick at home, and also with James Siekman, really getting my swing a little bit more efficient and using my big frame to get a little bit more out of my driver and also of my fairway woods. And so those were two perfect examples of physically being able to hit my ball a little further than I was last year off the tee, and then hitting a really what I would call a perfect second shot on the 18 green that, I mean, I couldn't have hit it in a better place without it staying on the green. But it was a really perfect contact, high, a little draw, exactly where you wanted it. It was like I couldn't have drawn it up any better.
So that was a 7-wood you hit?
That was a 7-wood, yep.
Okay, thanks.
You got it.
All right, thanks, Ron. Next, we'll go to Ben Averill with PGAtour.com. Go ahead, Ben.
Thanks, Mark. Congrats there, Stewart.
Thanks.
Mate, obviously after the 09 Open win, you would have been probably thinking and hoping that was your 6th win. You might have wanted 6 more or whatever by now. Was there a time in there that you feared or at least accepted that it might not happen again? And if so, how did you sort of come to terms with having that gratitude you spoke of today, if that was going to be the case?
I think I came to terms with the possibility that it might not happen. I did, and but it's not something I was settled or content with. I still compete to try to win, and I work hard on my game, and I just try to squeeze every little bit of juice I can out of my golf game, out of that lemon. And in that regard, I'm no different than a 20 or 25-year-old kid out here who's still got like his entire career ahead of him. I'm still working like crazy to try to be the best golfer I can be. And but there was probably a time when I felt like maybe age might have caught up with me, and maybe, I might have had my last win out here. But I wasn't ready to concede that. And I just knew that if I got back into position again, that if the time's right, I can hang in there. And that's what it really is all about. I mean, it's not very, very often when someone just keeps their foot on the gas all the way through the 18th hole and they just go out guns blazing and win by 9. I mean, that doesn't happen that often. So I was really pleased today, and I don't think the gratitude part though came from the fact that I had sort of maybe accepted the fact that I might not win again. I think I was just comfortable with winning or not winning today. And that's one thing that Lisa and I talked about before the round. I actually told her before I left the course, I said, you know what? I'm really excited for today, and I'm really scared. Because I think it's way better to admit that kind of thing than it is to come here with it all bottled up, and then as soon as you miss a putt or get a bad kick, you're like, freaking out. And so I told her I was a little bit scared, and she had some great words. She said, you know what? You're loved no matter what you do. No one expects anything out of you. I know you can do it, and you know you can do it, but the world doesn't expect anything out of you today. So just go out there and have a great time. You're with your son. It's going to be beautiful weather, aside from a little smoke. But she had great words, and she actually put me in a place where I was very calm, and I think that was the start of the gratitude, and all day it was just building.
And on that, she said basically she had a feeling this week that she couldn't shake. She didn't necessarily want to voice it. We stayed away from her down those last few holes to not put a jinx on it or anything, but given that your son was there, given that it's, your 100th top 10, all these other little omens were sort of speaking to you being able to do this. Did you get that sense from her too?
No. I didn't. In fact, we were kind of fighting this week earlier, so the only sense I got from her was like, eat crap.
Yeah.
That's partly true. No, I never got that sense from her. But one thing I always get from my wife is she always has this she will grab me by the shirt and say do you know how good you are? And sometimes it takes somebody around me who's really close in an intimate relationship to say that and to remind me oh yeah, I'm pretty good, because I tend to wander away from that belief, and so she has a good way of doing that, and she did that a little bit this week. She did that this morning.
Excellent stuff. Thanks, mate.
All right.
Thanks, Ben. Now we'll go to Dave Shidlowski, Golf World Golf Digest. Go ahead, Dave. Turn your video on and unmute yourself.
I have done that. Stewart, congratulations.
Hey, Shad. How you doing, buddy?
Well, we're hanging in. Thank you for asking.
Good
got
to
my
hear.
rocker here and my cane and wheelchair over there. It's all about you right now, Stewart.
Well, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much. 11th hole chip in, was that maybe a point where you thought, yeah, I definitely think I can win this, or I'm going to win this?
Well, things happen along the way when you're the one at the end, the last guy standing, and that was certainly one of those things. I actually forgot about it until just now because no one else has asked me about that. But when you're looking at that hole from the tee, you see nothing but trouble short, and my ball landed just short of the fringe or just short of the green on the fringe, and it trickled back down. And it's a tough little shot because you can't hit it hard enough to get it in the air, and there's no green to work with. But I got down there, and my ball was on the most beautiful, perfect lie. Perfect lie. And the chip basically became so simple that all I had to do was treat it like a putt and catch it on the club face somewhere. And you don't expect to chip in, but you throw up a grenade, and when it explodes, you see where the shrapnel goes, and right there, it went in the right place, and it was a little bit of an omen. I mean, I felt like I needed to get that ball up and down to keep my momentum, and when it went in the hole, I just felt like, okay. I turned to Reagan. I said, "Let's get 5 more birdies," and that didn't happen. But we gave him a chance, and I just felt like that was a really big moment there that propelled me into like a real lockdown type of focus.
Yeah, it showed. Just one more thought, and I don't know if you had given this any thought, but 11 years ago, you kind of had to share the win with Watson, and you kind of had to share the day and the story and everything else. And I'm wondering if this doesn't mean something because you don't have to share it except with your family. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about you this time. And
I got to share it with Reagan this time.
You know what I'm saying?
I do, but I've never seen it like that. I always felt like that Tom deserved every bit of the accolades that he got for his performance that week, being 59 years old then. And people ask me this all the time. I feel like I won the Open Championship that year. I don't feel like I took it out of Tom's hands or I disappointed the world or anything like that. I don't care what they all think about that. And I don't think Tom would ever think that either. I don't mind sharing the spotlight with him for that. I, in the end, got the claret jug. And that will never, leave my memories, and it'll never be taken away from me. So this week, yeah, it is special because I got to share it with Reagan. But if I had to share it with another player, and if there was another person in the spotlight this week that was part of the story too, I wouldn't care at all. I'm happy to be the winner. I'm proud to be representing Safeway Open now for this year, and to do it with Reagan on the bag, his 4th time caddying was just 25 cherries on the top.
Congrats again. Thanks very much, Stewart.
All right, Shad. We'll see you.
Thanks, Dave. Good to see you. Let's go to Adam Schupak for one more question. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, Stewart, yesterday you kind of downplayed what it would mean to get a victory. I'm just wondering now that you've actually done it, and yesterday you said you remembered back to the British and you didn't really do anything special. Do you feel you did anything special, and where does this one rank?
This one probably ranks at the top as far as the way I remember my quality of play. I mean, man, I've first of all, I've never been really that straight of a driver. And if you look back statistically, I don't think I've ever been in the top 100 in driving accuracy. But I felt like I had a really great command of my driver this week. And I owe quite a bit of thanks to the guys that work at Ping, my sponsor, my club sponsor. I was out at Ping's facility in Phoenix about 2 weeks ago and doing a deep dive equipment-wise. We looked at everything you can look at, and we really got my equipment dialed to the way it ought to be for me to be the most efficient. And I've really enjoyed the way that I've hit the ball a little bit differently this week than I have the last year or maybe 4 or 5 years even. And it was really a big impact for me. And all it took was for me to fly out and take the time to do it and really jump in with both feet and commit to the changes. And then my son Reagan noticed today, actually he's noticed before, but today, walking off number 2, I just hit a 7-iron up there on the green, and Reagan said, "Dad, you know what? Your tangibles are really, really good right now." And he's talking about the clubs. He said, "Your club, your ball, your tangibles are like your ball's doing what it's supposed to do. You're putting, your ball's starting on line." He said, "Let's just take care of the intangibles today." And I was like, that is like great advice, you know, for someone who's caddied 3 other times on the PGA Tour and hadn't played in a golf tournament, I don't think, since high school golf. And so, but he's a good golfer. He's a scratch golfer. But he made a great point. You know, my driver was doing what it's supposed to do. My fairway woods, my irons, my wedges, my putter, everything was really doing what it's supposed to do. And it was up to me to take care of the rest. And but without that visit to Ping and working with Spencer, who is one of the tech guys out here with Ping Golf, I just don't think I would have been driving the ball like I drove it. You know, I drove a ball like a young kid with lots of power and plenty of distance, and I hit a ton of fairways the last 3 days. And that's just not the kind of golf I normally play, but it gave me so much confidence coming down the stretch to be able to just rip the cover off the ball on holes like 16 and 18, which are 2 narrow fairways, and just absolutely split those fairways.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Adam. And Stewart, just before we let you go, you know, with winning there comes a lot of bonuses. You're going to be in the Players' Championship in 2021, the Masters in 2021, a number of invitationals, but one that might be special is the Century Tournament of Champions. I know a lot of players take their families there, and just, you know, I'm wondering, first of all, will it be a family trip? And secondly, would Reagan get another go on the bag with you?
I'm going to refrain from answering that last question about Reagan caddying because I have a feeling that my current caddy will probably hear that. It'll be a family trip, I hope. We'll probably have to reschedule a ski trip because, unfortunately, the last few years I've used that week as a ski trip, not being in the field. But, you know, one of the best things about winning the Safeway Open is it's the first tournament of the year, and you get the rest of the year, and the year after that, and the year after that, which yours truly will be turning 50 right around that time. So this is key timing for me to get a win. It'll keep me in fields for the rest of my career until I turn 50, and then I can move to another tour, maybe. We'll see.
Congratulations once again, Stewart Cink. What are your thoughts on the 2020 Safeway Open? Let me know in the comments section below, and please click on the thumbs up icon if you liked this video. Subscribing to this YouTube channel and sharing the video also helps. And don't forget to click on the notification button for this channel so you won't miss the next First 2T video.